Okay, let's talk about some basic but very important concepts that we need to hold in our minds in order to really talk about and do Tai Chi and understand what we're doing, right? So you have the 3 bodies, 5 directions, the 8 gates, and the 13 postures, and all these things fit together. The 3 bodies is basically this idea that comes out of Chinese traditional medicine of 3 components to who we are. Right? You have the physical body, you have the energetic body, and you have the spiritual body. And all these 3 of these bodies are interconnected, interdependent, feed one another, so you can't separate one from the other. That's an idea that is important because as we do our Tai Chi form, we can shift our focus from one to the other. Right? So you can do a form, and in your mind, what you're working on is, for example, your spiritual body. And that all that means is that you're going to pay more attention to your state of mind as you do it, as you go through the form. So maybe you want to be doing the form because you want to be more relaxed. So then the form itself, you can loosen the movements, you can be a little less precise, because the mind is going to be on the feeling that you're generating, the feeling of openness, etc. The energy body is essentially, it's the chi body, but it's also the emotions. So in the same way, you can do the form either in a strictly qigong manner, in which the emphasis is on opening all the joints, and you're really focusing on the breath and the movement of energy, so that the energy is actually what is moving the body. The physical body, of course, it's the material body, the muscles, sinews, etc. And you can do the form focusing more on the material aspect of the form, which means that now you're going to be working more on the balance, where the weight is, the application, so that you're paying more attention to where's the potential point of impact in a strike, etc. Of course, ultimately what you're trying to do is to get all 3 bodies working together. That would be the goal. But until you get to that point where you're able to do all 3 at once, it's okay to go back and forth. It's actually good to sometimes just decide at the beginning, going, you know what, on this particular time, this permutation of the form, I'm going to focus just on how it feels to stand, to move my feet, right? So it's a very physical approach to it, where you're just going to focus on how does it feel, how do your hips move, how does the weight of your body as you move through space. In a different time, you can go be a different mood. Maybe you want to focus more on the feeling of the energy. You want to feel more the openness of the joints. You want to feel more how the breath is moving everything, right? Etc., etc. And you can do that with at every single moment of the form, any form. You can basically have this approach where you're consciously making a choice. And I think that's the really important part, is that you're not just doing the form and kind of assuming that something good is going to happen, that you're just kind of blindly doing the form because this is what somebody taught you. You're doing the form because you yourself are engaging with your own body, the own variations within your body, and the form itself. So that you're having a dialogue with the form. You're using the form as a tool really to engage yourself, the various aspects of yourself. So that's where the concept of the 3 bodies is actually very important, because we'll also see that there's variations within applications and form, etc. And those variations come because of the differences between the 3 bodies, where the form might be actually dealing more with training the mind and the body and the chi, but when you start doing the application, suddenly you're going to be doing what was done in the form in a slightly different way, because the physical application now suddenly is putting more emphasis on the body moving through space, the body impacting another body, and that requires a different emphasis. So the variations that we see in applications, in form, etc., and also the variations that we see between different players, between different Tai Chi participants, is because of that different emphasis. Somebody will have a particular flavor to their Tai Chi because what they're doing is something slightly different from somebody else, because they're focusing on one of those 3 bodies, and that gives it a different quality. So that's why it's important to be aware of those 3 bodies: the physical body, the energy body, and the spirit body. Jing, Qi, and Shen in Chinese. Right? Those 3 bodies interconnected, interdependent, but they are distinct, and they can be addressed separately and independently. That's one of the crucial ideas, the 3 bodies.